Hi everyone, Rabbi Tawil here, wishing you Hag Sameach and a Tizku L'Shanim Rabot, Ne'imot V'Tovot. Each night of the holiday of Sukkot, when we sit in the Sukkah to dine with our families, we have an interesting practice. We recite a prayer called the Ushpizim. The Ushpizim means that we invite guests to our Sukkah. And our rabbis teach us that for each of the 7 nights of Sukkot, we invite one of our 7 patriarchs. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aharon, Yosef, and David, in addition to the physical guests that many of us have as well. I was always puzzled why it is that we have such a practice, specifically on Sukkot. Why not every Friday night invite one of our patriarchs or matriarchs to come to our Shabbat table? What is unique about the holiday of Sukkot that lends itself to the mitzvah of Hachnasat Orchim, of inviting guests, especially our patriarchs and matriarchs? I believe that Hachnasat Orchim on Sukkot has a very powerful message for both the host as well as for the guest. Very often when a person hosts somebody over, they might have an ulterior motive, not so much to help the person or to be gracious to the person coming, but to show off their own beautiful utensils, their bright and large and grand home. They want to show the guests that are coming over how wealthy they might actually be. The Torah requires that on the holiday of Sukkot, we invite guests over and we sit them outside in a hut under Kanfei Shekhinah, in a one-room, branch-roofed house. And we don't have the opportunity to show off our grand mansions over to our guests. Instead, we usher them outside and we sit together, and we're reminded that as a host, it is not about what we have and what we put out and what we display, but it's about being gracious to somebody, opening up your home to provide for them, and creating a spiritual connection with others through the act of chesed. It is Sukkot which can uniquely remind the host of why it is that we do Hachnasat Orchim in its truest form. There is also a message for the guest as well. Sometimes guests can come over and be annoyed that the host didn't serve them the proper bottle of wine, or didn't make enough food, or didn't put out their best for them, and their ego can get in the way. Why didn't they do more for me? And again, the Torah reminds us that when we usher the guests out into our Sukkah outdoors, they are under Kanfei Shekhinah, being invited together with our patriarchs and matriarchs, and that it is not their ego that should get in the way. The host is doing everything on their behalf in the best way that he can. And it's not about what you have and what you're being served or where you're being served, but the fact that the host took time out to provide and to create a connection is really the key. And this reminds both the host and the guest that in reality, the Sukkah is a microcosm for our existence in this world. We are ushered into this world as guests under Kanfei Shekhinah, together with a lot of great people. Our job is to connect with them. Our job is to focus on doing good and repairing the world and creating a connection, a spiritual connection with people and with Hashem. All of the materialism, all of the grandiose homes and cars and everything else is meaningless if we don't have good relationships. And that is what we are trying to create with Hachnasat Orchim and Sukkot. And with the materialism out of the way, it is the purest time in which we can fully internalize the message of Hachnasat Orchim and our purpose in this world. Tizku L'Shanim Rabot.